Okay, so the cross or the rear hand straight, your dominant hand's straight power punch. It's a little bit different to how we throw the jab. With the jab, we've established that a little bit of snap or rotation across the shoulder girdle is probably going to help you generate a really good jab and a really fast jab. The cross is different. The cross is probably more reliant on how we rotate across our hip. So, what am I talking about? In order for me to generate the most amount of torque in this punch, I'm going to want to use the same hip and I'm going to want to internally rotate it. So a good cross. What is a good cross? Stick it to your chin. And from here, we're going to whip the hip first because we know we generate more torque through our hip than our arm. Not our shoulder, our arm. More torque through our hip than our arm. We're going to turn the hip, and the hand's going to follow, right? So rotation of the hip, bing, punch comes out. Now the punch mechanics and rules are pretty much the same of the jab in terms of what happens with the upper body. When I throw my punch, I whip it out, bang, and this shoulder becomes a line of contact. I'm still going to look down my punch, but my shoulder is my line of defense, yeah? And that's the same rule for the jab. The shoulder becomes your line of defense. The power on a cross comes from the hip. So here we are, with the hip, cross comes out. Same things apply, what I said with the jab applies with the cross in so much as how fast you get that cross back to your chin is just important, if not more important, than how fast you get the cross out. So we want our return straight back to our chin. We whip the hip, cross goes out, punch comes back to chin. Weight distribution. Weight distribution of the cross, we're probably going to favor, well, we're definitely going to favor weight on our back foot, and we're still not going to overcommit or lunge to the cross. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes I see when fighters get overly ambitious or excited, they're moving around, they throw their cross, and they end up over here like they're throwing an overhand, like there's too much weight on their lead foot. This is bad. The best way to generate torque is to apply force through the ground, bing, and back to the chin. So this is happening, right? Rotation across my hip is happening. I'm not losing force by coming on to the tippy toes, as I mentioned before. I'm pushing through the ground and dropping my weight into that. The hip rotates, generating torque. The arm follows. The shoulder becomes a line of defense. I tuck my chin to my chest, and I have a fast return. Excuse the bus. I have a fast return to chin as I return to stance. So from here, chin down, 60-40, rotate the hip down and through the ground, back to chin, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40. Always resetting that weight on my feet. I keep my chin tucked, I watch down the barrel of my punch, my shoulder becomes a line of defense, and my hip is the main thing responsible for a good cross. So again, rotate the hip, drive through the floor, return to chin, keep that weight distribution 60-40. The common mistakes we see with the cross are pretty similar to the jab, in so much as not returning to the chin, bang. So not returning to the chin, fuck, I just did it, but not returning to the chin, bang, coming back down here, here you go, here's my chin, have fun with it, just a lazy return, that's gonna get you knocked out. Overcommitting to your cross or falling forward with your cross, here you go, same rule, lunging on that cross will get you numbed. What else? And flaring elbows. I didn't discuss that on the jab, I probably should have, but if I'm here, yeah, see how I've turned over and made that a very telegraphable punch? The cue I like to give my clients is imagine you're punching through pipe. I'm punching down and through a pipe. Bah! I've got to stay as tight and close. I've got to mimic my posture as well as possible and punch through the pipe. But now that I've established that, I might actually make another topic about straight mistakes or mistakes on the straights. We'll see.